James Kaufman, World News Report today. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, I had to go back to the cameras I was looking at last night, and we have a similar object, and it looks like it's spinning and moving through the frames of one of the FAA cameras here. And incredibly, it looks like it has craters on it, or lights, and you can see how bright it is there. You can also see how many times they're trying to chemtrail it. Now, there is a very good chance that this may be a star that's in the infrared or ultraviolet spectrum. And I'll show you examples of both. Either one would be completely invisible to humans, even if it was this up close and personal, but it wouldn't be to cameras. So could this be a very up close and personal infrared or ultraviolet star? Let's take a look at those definitions. Wow. Because the camera would be able to see it, but the human eye or visible light spectrum for the human, well, it would be out of that spectrum. Let's take a look. Now, if this was an ultraviolet star, it would typically be very hot, massive, luminous star, like O-type or B-type stars, emit significant portion of energy in the ultraviolet part of the electromagnetic spectrum. So it does appear blue, white, invisible, etc. But I would guess that this would be an infrared star, which means a failed star or a brown dwarf star. Brown dwarfs are celestial bodies often called failed stars because they form like stars but lack the mass. And instead of using hydrogen fusion, they are faintly seen in the infrared spectrum, making infrared telescopes like NASA's WISE or Wide Field Infrared Survey Explorer, very valuable to say the least. So this would be an extremely cool star, and this would also be outside of what we call visible light, which is what humans can see, which is 3/1000ths of the actual light spectrum. We'll show you all that as well. Now, what we see below would be the electromagnetic light spectrum. And this little portion here is, believe it or not, only 3/1000ths of 1% of that spectrum. And humans have the audacity to call that the visible light spectrum. Now, on either side of that, we have the ultraviolet spectrum and infrared spectrum. One is much cooler with shorter wavelengths, and one is much hotter with longer wavelengths. We do have animals that can see much further into each spectrum than human beings. But again, the 3/1000ths of 1% of light out of the entire electromagnetic spectrum is what humans call visible light, and that's about all we can see. So is there a good chance? Wow, they are trying to cover it, lots of chemtrails there, that this could be an infrared or ultraviolet star? Well, there definitely is a good chance it would be outside of our visual spectrum, i.e. the visible light spectrum, but it would be in the entire light or geomagnetic light spectrum. And there you see it. And you can also see them doing their best to cover it, although again, I would think that it would be outside of our spectrum and be able to be seen by cameras only. And that could be what's been going on with Earth for the last few years. This, second star, I would say brown dwarf, burned out or failed star that would be in the infrared spectrum. Could be super close and personal, although I would think that the tides would show this and we would be having more earthquake activity and more volcanic activity, even though we are in a very large uptick the last several years. I think it would be more so with a planet this big, this close. But it does make perfect sense that this would be visible from one of these cameras and not be visible to the human eye. And this moves perfectly through the sky, as you can see. It's not like something bobbing up and down like a camera relic. Very, very strange stuff. I thought I'd have to bring this to you. You can see them trying to cover it here. And, well, that's about all I have to say here. You can see it continues. Please make sure to give us a thumbs up. I don't know what this is, and I'm not saying it's a star or a planet. I do see the craters in it, etc., which is very strange. I don't think it is our moon. I'm sure it's not our moon based on its positioning. Please share, and always remember that anything's possible. Bizarro world. Wow. Let's look at that and stop it one last time.